Just like any other millennial, I love my phone, I live off this thing, but there are certain things I've done with my phone and my relationship to it that have truly helped in my mental health and my well-being and my productivity. So I'm gonna share with you how I organize my phone to keep it minimal and decluttered. I'm gonna show you specific apps I love that help keep me healthy, as well as some really simple settings you can use that will truly change the game. Let's jump right in. Let's just start with the home screen. I try to keep the apps on my home screen, the things that I reach for the most. I'm a Google girl through and through, so I've got Google Maps, Gmail, Google Calendar. If you guys want a video on how I time block and organize my life through my Google Calendar, let me know below if you're interested in seeing that, because I can nerd out over this stuff. I do have productivity apps like Asana, which is my task management and project management system. Those are things that I have on my phone. I like having them there for any time I'm out and away from my computer, but as much as possible when I'm working, I try to do that on my laptop. That is really helpful to just kind of have that boundary line, do that on a computer when I'm sitting at a desk and not try to just work from my phone. But my favorite is when I swipe over to the next screen, I see these minimal and beautiful organized folders. So you'll see in this extras folder, some of them are the ones that iPhone won't let you delete, and then some of them are things that I use, but I don't actually need to access very often. I just wanna hide them away, like our Wi-Fi router, Alexa, even Google Drive. I want them on my phone, but I don't need to see them, so I just kind of hide them away in that extras folder. I honestly hardly ever open it. My next folder is my Jesus folder. I really love the Abide app. I've tried all the meditation apps, and there's no doubt this is my favorite one. I like being covered in scripture. I do my daily quiet time in my actual Bible. I really try to set some of these boundaries, and that's one of them. I know if I'm trying to tell myself in my morning quiet time that I'm sitting down and reading scripture, I'm gonna get distracted and opening up other apps and interacting on social media and all those things. Next folder is my wellness folder. So again, some of my favorite wellness apps are actually on my home screen. Auto Sleep is my favorite sleep tracking app. I find it very accurate. It really knows the difference of when I'm just reading in bed versus when I actually fall asleep and when I get up. It's pretty impressive. The thermometer app, I use this to track my cycles as well as just keep a pulse on my metabolism. That's something I'm working on in repairing my metabolism and my hormones. Your waking temperature is an incredibly helpful vital sign for monitoring that. Another one of my favorite health apps is called Round. This is a medication reminder app. So you can go in and schedule reminders for specific medications. You can set times, you can set windows in which you want it to notify you, and then you can also check it off when you've taken it. Either if you're taking medication or if you're just working on taking your vitamins and supplements, this is a really helpful tool. But here in this wellness folder, I have my Nike Run Club app, my Nike Training Club app. Those are two apps that I really love. The Whitney Simmons Alive app. I'm not currently paying for that one because I'm currently going to hot yoga, but when I was doing the gym membership, I love Whitney's app. It's amazing if you ever want some guidance in the gym. ClassPass is something I have loved over the years. Core Power Yoga is where I book my yoga classes. Now, this is actually a little controversial here. I do have a calorie counting app here. It's called Lose It. I like it a lot more than MyFitnessPal. I spent many years of my life tracking every single morsel of food that came into my body. I do not do that anymore. I strongly recommend against that. There were points in my life where having this app on my phone was very triggering for me to want to do that. I've done a lot of healing when it comes to that habit of disordered eating, but I still have it on my phone because I actually will still use it sometimes just to do some nutrition data on meals I'm eating. For me, being able to check in every once in a while on, am I getting enough protein? If I'm creating a recipe that I'm publishing on my site, you will see I do not provide all of the nutrition data for that reason. I do not believe in counting calories on a regular basis, but sometimes I'll just throw in the amount of fiber or protein or sugar or things like that just as reference. Also, the pedometer app. I recorded a little tutorial for y'all on how I use this app to get my actual step count to show on my main Apple Watch face, which I really love when I'm trying to do 10,000 steps a day. I never actually open this app on my phone at all. I just use it for my Apple Watch. My next folder is called Business, and it's called that for a reason because when I come in here to these apps, I want to remind myself, even in that tiny little subconscious way, that this is for business, this is for a purpose. Of course, we've got Instagram, Pinterest, some camera apps. Lightroom is how I edit my photos. Google Photos is where I store my photos. Entertainment. Okay, let's talk about this. One of my favorite apps of all time, this Libby app. I shared in a recent favorites video about about my obsession with my Kindle. The Libby app is one of the reasons I'm so obsessed with it. All you have to do is go to your local public library, get a library card, you can open the Libby app, and then you can digitally check out any books you want at any time without going to the library, and then you just send them straight to your Kindle. It's incredible. So with that, I use the Goodreads app to keep track of books that I want to read, what I've read. It's really fun to set a goal for the number of books you want to read in a year and see that progressing. But you'll see I don't have Netflix, and that's because I don't want to watch Netflix on my phone. I'm not saying that I don't watch TV, I definitely do, but I like that to be on the couch, on the TV with my husband, not just like constantly attached to that access here on my phone. Okay, I have a shopping folder. Obviously that includes Amazon, Home Depot, and Lowe's. I will say, because we've not been actively doing renovations, I haven't opened these apps in months, but let me tell you, if you struggle with locating something in a Home Depot, all you gotta do, download the app, look up the item, and it'll tell you exactly where to find it in the store. Very, very helpful. I've got a food folder. One of my favorite apps is this Find Me Gluten-Free. Even if you're not allergic to gluten, this still is a helpful tool in finding healthy restaurants around you. Anytime you're traveling around, you can open this app and it'll show you what has been registered as gluten-free friendly. It's a really easy way to find new places to eat, especially when you're out traveling and you just need to find something to look for. That is really helpful. I am not above some Chick-fil-A drive-through ordering. Possibly even more important than apps though is the settings that I set on my phone. So let's talk through some of these things that arguably will change your life. All right, the first one here we gotta talk about is notifications. If I scroll through this list of apps, you will see 95% of them are off. I truly believe this is the single most important thing you will do in your relationship to your technology. You are in control of what comes your way. So you'll see really the only apps that I get notifications for are text and calls, my Round app where I get notified about my medication, Google Calendar because I do want it notifying me if I set alarms for things to remind me 3 minutes before a meeting or something like that. Honestly, that's pretty much it. If you actually look at the research, the human brain is literally incapable of multitasking. We just switch between multiple things quickly. The more that you are allowing yourself to be distracted from what you're trying to work on, I mean, come on, you're just like shooting yourself in the foot with those notifications. So I'm telling you, if there's one single thing you take away from this video, open up your notifications, scroll through, and turn almost everything off. It will change your life. Okay, another super helpful setting here. Go to display and brightness and then scroll down to night shift. I have mine scheduled sunset to sunrise. You can set it to specific timings if you want, but I recommend turning this all the way to more warm. Blue light, the kind of light that comes off of our phone, is incredibly detrimental to our brain's processing of nighttime. Think about what sunset looks like. It's warm, and that's what cues our brain that it is time to start shutting down and prepare ourselves for sleep. When you are looking at your phone anytime that the sun is not out, you're telling your brain that it's time to be awake. I will say this night shift setting in here is not strong enough. Just turning this on and still being on your phone all night, you're still going to have trouble falling asleep. But it's one of the easiest, simple things you can do. I think you'll be surprised at the difference it'll make in your sleep quality. If you go to your clock app and go to alarms and then you click change under the sleep and edit sleep schedule and health, this is a game changer, okay? So even if you don't use your phone to wake up, which I don't recommend, you can set your sleep schedule. I have my bedtime for 9:30 and my wind down for 2 hours. What this does is it automatically at 7:30 p.m. my phone goes into this night mode where I can see the time, but I don't see any notifications on my main home screen. So if I want to open it up and go in and access my apps or see my notifications, I can. But automatically at 7:30, it doesn't show me that on my main home screen. So it's just such an easy way to start telling my body and my brain, okay, it's time to shut down, it's time to put this away. I'm actually making an effort to plug my phone in the other room. I really try not to be on my phone in those hours, and then for at least an hour after I wake up. Putting it away is so helpful in resisting the temptation to look at it. Like, of course, if you're sleeping with your phone plugged in next to your bed, of course you're gonna be tempted to scroll on Instagram when you can't sleep at night. Of course you're gonna be tempted to check your email as soon as you wake up in the morning. That is not what we need. We are in charge of how we start our days. We are in charge of the information that comes into our brain. Having boundaries of when that happens is the first and easiest step you can take. So even if you're scrolling on Instagram all day, at least setting those boundaries of not being on it before bed and not being on it right after you wake up is really truly helpful. Even game apps. So Casher and I have kind of been obsessed with this game called Block Puzzle, and it's like Tetris but a little different. I find it incredibly therapeutic. It's kind of like the satisfaction of putting a puzzle together, but I was also noticing that at night when we were watching a show, instead of just sitting there enjoying the show, I'm on my phone playing this game. Even though in my head it was relaxing, I could literally feel it like raising my cortisol levels. I could feel it. I've literally downloaded and deleted that app like 6 different times now. Sometimes when I'm sitting next to Cashmere and he's playing, I'm like, oh, I want to play you, and I'll download it, but then I delete it because I'm like, I can't have this on my phone. Another tiny little tip that I feel like is actually really helpful is anytime I download a new app, it will automatically go next to these folders, and instead of just immediately putting it in a folder, I actually let it sit there for a little while and I try to process, do I need this? Am I using this? And a lot of times the answer is no, so then I just delete the app. Well, there you go. I hope you enjoyed this tour of my iPhone. If you download any of these apps or use any of these settings, please do come back and comment below and tell me how you feel. I really want to know if you notice an improvement in your sleep quality, in your focus, in your peace of mind. If you guys want to see more of my intentional relationship with digital technology, my Google Calendar and how I time block, or tools that I use in my life to stay organized and productive, definitely comment below what videos you'd like me to cover in that area. I know there are so many things in our lives and in our world that we have no control over, but this thing right here in our hands, we get to decide the relationship we have with it. Make sure you like this video and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!